So now I have the honor of introducing our keynote speakers. They have different paths to the mission continues, and their stories are different. I'm excited for you to hear them. But what joins them, what joins their stories, is that both have an arc of service that continues from their military service in uniform to their service in their community today. So please join me in welcoming Michelle Poiter and Kelly Land.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Poiter. I'd like to thank the Mission Continues leadership and the entire staff for inviting me to speak here tonight, and for their continued encouragement and support over the past few years. I am honored to tell you my story and to share with you the impact that the Mission Continues has had on my life, and undoubtedly on the lives of many others. To begin, I'd like to recite a poem that I wrote about my journey. It's called Beneath the Mask. Can you see beneath the mask? Do you see the pain that's concealed? Afraid to reveal how I truly feel. Day in, day out, I strive to appear strong, confident, and in control. In reality, there's a war raging within my soul. So many times you look and only see the surface. Who will take the time to look beyond and see my true purpose? Who will take the time to caress my very essence and partake of the gifts shared in my presence? I see the pain beneath the mask of others in the world today. How, you may ask? I see what once was reflected in me. Many are starving for that thing we all crave: acceptance, love, and affection. Often, what the world has to offer is exactly the opposite: apathy, hate, and rejection. There is a place where the mask can be removed, a place where you can be free. Are you brave enough to unveil and allow others to see beneath the mask? For me, the Mission Continues is that place. And that poem says so much about my experiences over the past few years. Now today, in addition to being a writer and a Mission Continues alumni, I consider myself to be many other things: a mother, a grandmother, an author, a public speaker, an entrepreneur, and an advocate. But it wasn't always that way. Many years ago, I was lost, a high school graduate with no clear path forward towards my future. And then the Navy came calling, and I answered. I joined the Navy for two primary reasons. First and foremost, I've always had a desire to serve and to be a part of something greater than myself. The second reason was to escape a very disturbing, dysfunctional past, a past filled with things that no individual, child or adult, should be forced to endure. I served 13 years in the United States Navy as a cryptologic technician, or in layman's terms, a code breaker, and I loved my job. I excelled at it. I visited many countries, and I proudly served aboard two of the Navy's finest warships, the USS Kennedy and the USS Spruance. The vast majority of my military experience was a positive, purpose-filled, and life-affirming experience. But there were also dark spots. While serving at my first military assignment, I was sexually assaulted by another service member. And I was encouraged by my commanding officer not to report the incident. So instead, I hid behind the mask of the perfect soldier. I threw myself into my work. There were many things in my life that I couldn't control, but my career, that was something that I could. I advanced, ultimately achieving the rank of Petty Officer Second Class before a medical condition ended my Navy career in 2003. After completing my military service, exchanging my uniform for civilian clothes, I came home ready and willing to continue serving within my community. However, it wasn't as easy as I imagined it to be. I spent 10 years bouncing from job to job, a FedEx worker, a U.S. Census Bureau worker, and an administrative assistant. I went to business school to sharpen my skills, but even with a degree, I was still waking up every morning just to pay the bills. I was walking around wearing a mask to hide from the world and those closest to me. And then I was laid off, and I spiraled out of control. I lost my car and my home. I isolated myself from my support networks, and I became depressed and suicidal. And then, almost out of thin air, hope entered my life. A fellow veteran told me about the Mission Continues. And from the moment I read about the fellowship, I knew that this was my path forward to work that would be meaningful and restore my sense of purpose. I became a Mission Continues Fellow in 2013, serving at the Beacon Institute, a nonprofit in Norfolk, Virginia, that helps homeless veterans reintegrate. As the program manager, I was able to use the skills, my training and my leadership skills that I acquired in the Navy to become an ambassador for those that needed help the most: the homeless, survivors of sexual and domestic abuse, those suffering from PTSD, and victims of military sexual assault, like myself. My 6 months serving at the Mission Continues proved to be my takeoff point. And since I first found the organization, I've flown. Today, I serve as a board member on several veteran-based nonprofit organizations in Jacksonville, Florida. I recently started my own nonprofit organization called Healing Women, Healing Nations of Jacksonville. Our organization helps to establish transitional housing for homeless female veterans with children. I mentor as an expedition leader for No Barriers Warriors on their female veteran retreats. And a little over a year ago, myself and 11 other veterans, and this was my first experience mountaineering, we summited the Andes Mountain in Peru at 17,000 feet. And I am deathly afraid of heights. I credit my fellowship with helping me to remove the mask of fear and pain that I'd worn for so long. I now aim high when setting my personal goals. And I meet my challenges and my obstacles and my barriers head on. I've regained my sense of trust in others, and I have a support network that helps me to reach my full potential in service to my community. There is a place where the mask can be removed, a place where you can be free. Are you brave enough to unveil and allow others to see beneath the mask? Thank you.